The Lizardmen are a race of cold blooded creatures who populate the warm climate jungles of the southern Lustria and the Southlands, created by the Old Ones. The Elves, on the other hand, are a younger race, considered to be the children of the Old Ones, along with men and dwarves, by the Lizardmen. Indeed, the Old Ones created some primitive creatures that would one day be transformed into the first elves, men, and dwarves. Despite this connection, this relationship with the High Elves is said at best to be puzzling. What drives this? That is what we will discuss today in this Warhammer lore breakdown episode. Enjoy! Despite their huge differences in physical appearance and the distance that separates their respective territories, the Lizardmen and High Elves share common interests that both bring them closer together and further apart. We will start from the beginning, to the very dawn of Elven civilization, where the Lizardmen civilization reigned supreme and unchallenged. The Old Ones, godlike beings who formed the world as it is today, created the Slan to be the leaders and magic wielders of the Lizardmen. The Slan were created to be the Old One's most powerful servants and even have the ability to shift continents and create incredible feats of architecture. Their one true purpose is to fulfill the Old One's great plan that would see the forces of chaos defeated and destroyed for all time. They are merciless when it comes to fulfilling this task and seek to fulfill their master's goals with ruthless efficiency. Each lizardman species has a unique role in the empire created by the Old Ones. The Saurus were created to wage war and kill indigenous species that were not part of the plan. The Croxigars, as obedient builders of the temple cities and at times of war, powerful warriors. And the Skinks as artisans and crafters, with quick minds and careful hands. Overall, Lizardman society is based on worshipping and fulfilling the plans of the Old Ones, who left them when they disappeared during the events of the Great Catastrophe. They spend their entire lives trying to interpret the glyphs left behind to piece back together an ultimate plan for the world that lay in fragments. Foremost among the Slan was Lord Croak the Venerable, defender of Itza, the first temple city. In the age before chaos, it is written that it was Lord Croak and his peers of the first spawning who first taught magic to the elves, and judging by their commitment to the great plan, this must have been ordered by the Old Ones themselves. This is but an example of what defines High Elf Lizardman relations. This great plan is unknown, but more often, the elves commit transgressions towards it in the eyes of the Lizardmen without knowing. As a result, these species would more often come to blows rather than mutually cooperate. In the rare moments they do, it is to the benefit of the great plan. An even larger example of cooperation between the two races would be the creation of the Great Vortex upon the Isle of the Dead. Alone, the elf mages, despite all their wisdom and experience, could not have maintained the incantation of the vortex or created it in the first place without the invaluable help of the Slan, who lended their powers to its creation and ultimately succeeded. The Slan are far more experienced than the High Elf mages, being taught by the Old Ones directly how to harvest and use the winds of magic to their benefit, and being the ones who taught magic to the elves. Though the High Elves are unaware of this fact, the Slan devised the Great Warding that keeps the vortex running to this day. The Slan recognized the importance of this warding and would defend the Nexus sites to the death, lest the world fall into the grip of chaos once more. They would also defend the sacred sites where the Slan would make pilgrimages to meditate and seek more knowledge, or places where the Slan or even the Old Ones themselves have set foot on. Which is another reason why the High Elves and Lizardmen reach conflict when the Elves unknowingly come across these sites on expeditions into Lustria. In 2349 IC, we can see this during the events of the Battle of the Citadel of the Dusk, where a large dark elf corsair force laid siege to the elven military post slash colony. It is said the battle would have been lost had it not been for the intervention of a lizardman army from Itza who crossed the Kulchan plains and across a magical bridge likely summoned by the Slan to appear behind dark elf siege lines behind the citadel. The battle resulted in the Corsairs being repulsed and the Lizardmen marching back across the bridge without saying a word to the High Elves, who are left in confusion as to what happened. To conclude, the Lizardmen followed the great plan with an overwhelming devotion, And if part of the Great Plan requires an alliance with the High Elves, then ally they do, or vice versa. The Great Plan requires the High Elves to be in Ulthuan, and many encounters with the Lizardmen being in Lustria, where the High Elves are not supposed to be, end up in bloody conflict. The Lizardmen, however, let the High Elves maintain settlements in some areas of Lustria. This is because the elves help maintain and preserve these sites better than all other races, such as the humans in Skegi, who often transgress on Lizardmen's soil, seeking treasures only to be slaughtered for their looting of temple cities. Any conflict with the Lizardmen is not really seen as a declaration of hostilities or souring of relations, as the High Elves understand this. Despite not having any existing diplomatic channels with the Lizardmen, who never directly communicate with them, for their part, High Elves of Ulthuan now consider themselves protectors of the world, forgetting in all their pride and arrogance that it was the Lizardmen race of Lustria that were the first guardians and still are, for they helped maintain the vortex of Ulthuan. It is an enigmatic relationship, but one that works in favor of both races occasionally. But that wraps up my history of the relationship between the High Elves and Lizardmen. If there's anything you guys want me to cover in my Warhammer lore series, please let me know in the comments section. If not, give a like or subscribe to keep up to date with my content, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Till then, farewell.
Our master will not wake. We journey to the city of the sun.